Product development in the food and drink industry is thriving. Food labelling regulations play a key role in bringing safe products to market, but complying with these regulations is easy to get wrong, the consequences of which could cost someone's life. Global food regulatory experts Ashbury helps protect consumers and brands by making food labelling compliance straightforward. Zoe Jordan, CEO, and Brigid McKevith, Head of Regulatory Affairs, join me now. Thank you for joining me. Zoe, why is labelling compliance so important, and at what part of a product's development should it be considered?
Chris, labelling compliance is so important, and the reason why is because as a consumer, you use the food labelling information to make the decisions about purchasing that product for you to eat. It should be considered right at the very start of the product development process, when as a food manufacturer, you're thinking about the product formulation, the ingredients you might use in that product, all the way through the manufacturing process, through to production, through to producing the label and what claims you might want to put onto that label. You should be considering food compliance and regulation right at the very start, because if you don't do that, it could cost you quite a lot of money and a lot of time to fix those mistakes at the end of the product development process.
Brigid, what is the risk of not considering compliance right at the very beginning?
I think the most important risk we need to consider is that to the consumers. So we don't want to sell food that's not safe for consumers to enjoy. But also as a business, you don't want to be selling products that are not compliant. You might have to recall the product, which will cost you money. You may have financial implications from the people that you've committed to sell your product to, the retailers. Empty shelves, not great for anyone. And you might have to write off the product as well. So hopefully you won't get to that point. Hopefully you can protect your brand, protect your business, and protect consumers and get it right from the beginning.
Food export is a huge opportunity for brands, but why does internationalisation come with its own set of compliance challenges?
Exporting products overseas is a great opportunity, but it's not as simple as just translating the information on the label to the country that you want to export it to. Every market's going to have its own rules and regulations that you need to know about. You need to understand if the ingredients that you're using can be used in those countries. It's really important to get the name of the product right. So, for example, pigs and blankets, which we love here in Britain and the UK, would not translate very well if you were selling that product in France. You'd need to change the name to cocktail sausages wrapped in bacon. So just one example of the importance of the considerations you need before exporting to other countries.
So Zoe, when it comes to food safety, product labelling is more important now than ever.
Oh, it so is. Allergens, food intolerances, they're definitely on the increase. And there's been some real high-profile cases, such as the Natasha's Law in the UK, that have led to some positive developments in the labelling of allergens on food products, which is a great development in the world of food labelling. But food safety is more than just allergens. And there's other information that has to go onto the product label that supports the consumer to make good choices when they're either choosing the food or preparing the food and cooking the food. So things such as the storage instructions, things such as the cooking instructions, it's really important for the food manufacturer to get those right so that as a consumer prepares the food, that you know that you're preparing that food safely for consumption.
Information is obviously crucial, but can we say too much? Can a product tell you too much?
Possibly. I mean, I think we as consumers are looking for more and more information about the foods that we want to buy. But the mandatory parts of a food label kind of fight for space with some of the marketing elements. So it's becoming more crowded. What we're seeing is a move to providing information offline, so not on the label, but perhaps via QR code that consumers can scan, check and see if it's a product they want to buy and then buy it.
So to both of you, considering the complicated landscape that the food and drink industry is facing, what's your main advice to brands?
It is a really complicated landscape. There's more and more regulation that is impacting businesses. Things like sustainability is up and coming. But then there's sort of other factors that we may not realise impact our food labels and the products. So conflicts around the world may impact on the ingredient supply. Obviously, when the UK came out of Europe, Brexit, there's lots of regulatory changes from there as well. So it's a lot more complex than it was in the past. And it's really difficult for one business to navigate that by themselves. So our advice would be to work with your trade associations, look at your network, look at people like ourselves, Ashbury, to see how we can help you get it right first time.
The UK in particular has a really strong history of producing high quality, compliant food for sale in the UK and around the world. And we're a nation that wants to continue to do that. Compliance is such an important part of maintaining that position of producing and selling high quality food that's safe for consumers to eat. So get the compliance right at the early stages of the product development process, and you can be sure that you will be launching products that meet those world-leading global standards.
Which is what everybody wants, I'm sure. Well, Zoe Jordan, Brigid McKevith, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks.